Hello, everyone. So the time flies. It's March 30. We had made a resolution in March, on the first day of March, that we are going to listen to the editorial discussion daily. And just before this month ends, kindly check how many recordings you have seen, you have heard, right? If you have missed any, kindly complete them in this month only, right? New month, new resolution, and your resolutions are to be fulfilled, are to be kept, right? They are not to be broken. Keep that in mind. So let's see what we have today, March 30, 2023, the first editorial of the Indian Express, that is red tape. And then there's a comma, and then still. See, that slight comma, that punctuation also gives you the intent of the author कि आगे मतलब बोलना क्या चाहता है वो तो यार अभी भी रेड टेप चल रहा है आगे रेड टेप होता क्या है मोस्ट ऑफ यू हैव हर्ड दिस लेट्स सी व्हाट इट इज so in 2017 the education ministry then the HRD ministry conceived the institutions of eminence scheme to develop world class centers of higher education in the country. There was a scheme to develop world class centers of higher education. Universities that met the 10 criteria were promised autonomy in financial matters and guaranteed unprecedented freedom to hire faculty and customize courses. This is what will be the provisions. उनको क्या-क्या मिलेगा फिर? Customized course. 6 years later, the project is yet to become the game changer. Yet to become. It was intended to be. An investigation by this newspaper has revealed that the IUE scheme is hobbled by the very regulatory cholesterol from which it promised deliverance. Very regulatory cholesterol from which it promised deliverance. 4 private institutes which have received the all clear from the government empowered committee are yet to get the IOE tag. 4 others which have received this recognition continue to face red tape on matters such as hiring foreign faculty and admitting foreign students. They find themselves encumbered by the UGC heavy handed approach. Right now, see this paragraph broken into two parts. One gives you the data, the fact, what happened, what was said. So there was a scheme to develop the world-class centers. What will be provided to those people who will, to those universities that met the criteria? Fine. Autonomy in financial matters or ये सब मिलेगा उनको. Then the point that it is yet to become the game changer, ये project जो था, right? It is not yet complete. Then there was an investigation. And what did that investigation reveal? Okay, that means why has this project taken such a long time? तो ये क्वेश्चंस रेज हुए हैं इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ क्या पता चला कि अभी भी वहां पे गाड़ी अटकी हुई है कहां पर it has been 6 years they are yet to get the tag right and then they continue to face red tape on matters such as hiring foreign faculty and all that so these are the blockages, these are the hindrances, these are the obstructions that are not allowing this particular scheme to be successful. ठीक है अभी तक वो आधे में ही अटके हुए हैं तो यहाँ पे रीजन भी आ गया वाई का फिर जवाब आ गया यहाँ पे रीजन दिस इज ऑल व्हाट दे आर गोइंग टू गेट द बेनिफिट्स and the first two sentences one sentence gives you the fact. Now, the scheme to increase the excellence quotient of Indian universities was part of a larger vision that found its most cogent expression in the NEP 2020. IOE's focus on multidisciplinarity is of a piece with the NEP's emphasis on holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, and humanities. Right? So, this would be a major point now that this scheme, what was the reason for that scheme. So they wanted, what was the objective? So they wanted a holistic education combining all the sciences together. Ironically, however, the policy appears to be holding up the final approvals for the 4 private institutes that have been picked up for eminence. So this is a repetition. We remember reading it in the previous paragraph. The Empowered Expert Committee that was created to make UGC regulations more flexible for the IEs has become defunct. डिफंक्ट यानी अब काम नहीं कर रही है जो कमिटी बनाई गई थी वो अब काम नहीं कर रही है So the idea of university autonomy is now embedded in the higher education regulator proposed by the NEP of India. The yet to be born agency is mandated to secure IOE type autonomy for all universities and not just the select institutes. Yet to be born agency. मतलब काम आधे में रुका है. There's a new thing, new agency that is to be established. But this technicality is not the only bottleneck. Right. If we have seen in this 1.5 paragraph that the work is still not done, it's yet to be done, right? It continues to be delayed. तो मतलब अभी तक कुछ काम हुआ नहीं है. So we can understand कि ये bottlenecks हैं. क्यों नहीं हुआ है? So this technicality is not the only bottleneck. So we can understand the meaning of the word bottleneck. And then we can understand the meaning of the word the actual seal also. So the biggest national seal for the IOEs seem to be the ethos of the higher education ecosystem that is decidedly pre-NEP 2020. Some of the directives issued to the institutes are in fact unreasonable. So all these are the hindrances, impediments or bottlenecks, right? Why has it not yet happened? अभी तक हुआ क्यों नहीं? तो ये सारे उसकी जो hurdles हैं, barriers हैं, कुछ भी बोल सकते हो आप, इतने सारे words हैं इसके लिए, hindrances, hurdles, barriers, something that is stopping them, right? So how else can one describe the UGC's demand for a say in the naming of research cells in BITS Pilani and Manipal Institute of Higher Education? The university regulators' interventions, right? Interventions means they wanted a say, they demanded a say in the matters. So these interventions have led to seats falling vacant in at least 3 private IOs. And it's not just the UGC. Institutions endeavoring to venture into the multidisciplinary arena have to often negotiate a regulatory haze that comprises agencies such as National Medical Commission, Architecture Council of India, and the Bar Council. Right? So रेगुलेटरी मेज का मतलब होता है एक लैब्रिंथीन, मतलब एक पूरा जैसे हम ना भूल भुलैया बोलते हैं, इन दैट वे एवरीथिंग इज एंटैंगल्ड, एवरीथिंग इज अ मेस. दिस इज अ रेगुलेटरी मेज दैट मीन्स दे नीड टू गो थ्रू सो मेनी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन. सब कुछ फॉलो करना पड़ेगा, कहीं पे साइंस लगेगी, कहीं पे कुछ, जो कि पहले होता था एक लाइसेंस राज सिस्टम में, right? Before 1991 economic reforms, all this used to happen. So this is, now you can understand what is red tapeism, right? So all the rules and regulations that are to be followed, and therefore they take up a lot of time, and things which should have been done quickly, faster, major decisions that should be taken faster, still face this problem of time. So now this paragraph also we can understand. The first part of the paragraph said that why and how it was made, because they needed a holistic education. And then the second part of the last half, rather 2/3 of the paragraph, is giving you that there are so many bottlenecks. And what is the bottleneck? That they have to meet the or face the regulatory maze if they want anything to be done. So this newspaper's investigation reveals that government funds amounting to rupees 3,000 crore have helped 8 public universities initiate ambitious reforms and set up state-of-art research infrastructure. Now this is a welcome development, positive. So private IOEs, however, have been left to fend for themselves, even as autonomy they were promised has been consequenced by its absence. जो autonomy उन्हें मिलनी थी, वो अभी नहीं है. And this is the absence of the autonomy, and it is conspicuous. That means it is clearly seen. The government has often affirmed its ambition to develop India as a knowledge economy. The move to open up the education sector by inviting foreign universities is part of this endeavor. The investigation on IOEs shows that much more needs to be done on this front. So now, if we say that much more needs to be done, means what? Whatever is done is not enough. One thing, the government, when it talks about the in the second paragraph here, that institutions endeavoring to venture into the multidisciplinary area have to often negotiate a regulatory maze. They have to negotiate, and this comprises agencies such as so and so and so. बार ऑफ काउंसिल एंड बार काउंसिल, आर्किटेक्चर काउंसिल, जो भी है ये सब, राइट? फ्रॉम दिस व्हाट कैन बी इन्फर्ड? फ्रॉम दिस लास्ट सेंटेंस व्हाट कैन बी द इन्फरेंस, मतलब अब इसमें से अब हम और क्या समझ सकते हैं, right? So that was what I was discussing, that all these they're definitely following the rules and regulations or unnecessarily taking more time in coming up with taking a decision also, right? So all this is called red tapeism. So what can be understood from this? What can be concluded from this? What is being assumed? कि टाइमली डिसीजंस ले लेने चाहिए, ये हम अज्यूम कर सकते हैं इसमें। यहाँ पर भी है एक्ल सील से, दिस इज नॉट द ओनली बॉटलनेक, द बिगेस्ट एक्ल सील फॉर द आईओए सीम टू बी द एथोस ऑफ द हाई एजुकेशन सिस्टम। एथोस का मतलब होता है जो स्पिरिट होती है of the high education ecosystem, that is decidedly pre-NEP 2020. Okay? And directives issued in the institutes are unreasonable. So when you're reading, so these are few words which you need to focus on if it comes as a passage for answering the questions. So the main idea would be institutions of eminence as an IOE scheme is hobbled by the regulatory cholesterol from which it promised deliverance. राइट? तो ये आयरोनिकली हो जाता है ना, जिस चीज से उन्हें बेनिफिट या जिस चीज से उन्हें बचना था या बचाना था, वही चीज हॉबल कर रही है, राइट? हॉबल मीन्स लाइक टू बी लिंपिंग, ये इसका सिंपल सा मीनिंग है। हॉबल इज नॉट वर्किंग प्रॉपरली, नॉट वॉकिंग प्रॉपरली, ये भी हो सकता है। सो ही वॉज हॉबलिंग, वाई? बिकॉज ही हर्ट हिज लेग, right? So that is also called hobble. So let's see the vocabulary that we have here. Autonomy is self governance, ये हमें पता है, क्यों? क्योंकि एक तो ऑटो का मतलब होता है सेल्फ और नॉमी का मतलब होता है नेम। तो ठीक है, हमारा ही इंस्टीट्यूट है, हमारा ही नाम चलेगा और हमारे ही नाम के साथ उसके क्वेश्चंस पेपर्स बनेंगे, ठीक है? सो ऑफ कोर्स सिलेक्टिंग द फैकल्टी एंड ऑल, वो जो दिया था उसमें फॉरेन फैकल्टी को भी ले सकते हैं या स्टूडेंट्स को एंट्री ले सकते हैं, तो हमारे डिसीजंस हमारे ही होंगे, दैट इज ऑटोनॉमी। हॉबल इज टू स्टम्बल, स्टैगर, लिम्प, right? This is usually the work. Red tape is the procedures, the rules and regulations that are to be followed. Encumbered means you have done the word cumber. Something that is cumbersome means it's a burden. Okay, recently we have done this word cumbersome, and you must have read this word also, incumbent. So here too you have the use of this root word. Holistic is all inclusive, complete. So usually it is used with the word approach, a holistic approach, where you are taking all the aspects of a particular problem together and dealing with it or tackling with the matter on all the fronts together. So that becomes a holistic approach. If you're taking one aspect at a time, if you're dealing with one part of the problem at a time, that is called a piecemeal approach. ठीक है, ये अलग होता है। पीसमील अप्रोच यानी टुकड़ों में काम करना, और होलिस्टिक अप्रोच का मतलब होता है सारे प्रॉब्लम्स को एक साथ हैंडल करना, टैकल करना। एम्बेडेड, embedded is rooted, entrenched, ingrained. You have done this word also, I suppose. Why do I say you have done this word, done this word? मतलब ऐसे कई लोग होंगे जिन्होंने नहीं सुना होगा, और कई लोग होंगे जिन्होंने ये वाले वर्ड बार बार पढ़े होंगे या सुने होंगे। ठीक है, embedded means it is there in the person, it is there in the culture, it is there in the, what do you say, in the society, that is called embedded. ठीक है, ऐसे कई सारे हैबिट्स होती हैं जो कि डीपली रूटेड होती हैं, राइट? एंड देन यू से इनग्रेन्ड। बॉटलनेक हमने कर लिया था, ब्लॉकेज, हिंड्रेंस, इम्पेडिमेंट, something that is stopping you. Endeavor is to struggle, try, attempt, वो endeavor होता है, where you are coming up with starting something new. So you are making attempts, trying out. Ventures, वेंचर इज मेनली एन एंटरप्राइज. अब स्कीम कर सकते हो कि कुछ नया किया है, और वेंचर यानी किसी नए रास्ते पे जाना, तो इसलिए वो कोर्स या पाथ हो जाता है. डू नॉट वेंचर आउट इन अननोन एरियाज, राइट, मतलब कहीं पे जाना. वो वेंट, वेंट इसका रूट वर्ड है. मेज, एज आई सेड, मेज का मेस, मडल, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. मडल इज लाइक कंफ्यूजन. एंटैंगल्ड मतलब पूरा उलझा हुआ. ठीक है, और उलझी हुई चीजों को सुलझा देना, दैट इज कॉल्ड डिसएंटैंगल्ड, राइट. उलझना इज एंटैंगल्ड, उलझी हुई चीजों को सुलझाना इज डिसएंटैंगल्ड. एंड द वर्ड दैट यू कैन राइट, दोस्त हु हैव हर्ड द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ड्स, यू कैन राइट लैब्रिंथीन. ठीक है, सिंपल सा वर्ड मीनिंग होता है भूल भुलैया. सो इट्स अ मेज, इट्स अ लैब्रिंथीन, और इट इज एन एंटैंगलमेंट, right? And because it is an entanglement, we are in a mess or we are in a muddle, or rather we are muddled. ये भी कर सकते हैं. It can be the other usage of that word muddle, right? Conspicuous is something that you can see, something that is visible, noticeable, exposed, striking, prominent. ठीक है, स्ट्राइकिंगली विजिबल कर सकते हो. सो स्ट्राइकिंगली विजिबल का मतलब दिख रहा है कि that particular person is not here, right? So we are missing him. So he was conspicuous by his absence, right? Ash's heel is the weakest point. ये ग्रीक मैथोलॉजी का वर्ड है, इसके पीछे भी एक कहानी है, लेकिन हम वो आज नहीं सुनाएंगे. Someday we'll take some stories from the Greek mythology and then we'll come up with it. So that's all for today. So thank you and stay logical.